position a lot more from BBL. Like I think that again, I agree with what Icebox said. I think conceptually
we
the other
got
comp can
BBL
work.
on
I do just think that
defense,
on the day
we
it
got
went
core and
horrifically,
attack.
they've decided to scrap it and go back to a much
1-1
more
for pistol so far.
aggressive, fast-paced sort of comp. Already though,
Yampy, don't do
initial
this.
fight will go the way of
No
BBL,
way.
and we'll continue in that direction.
He actually did it. At least they all did it together though. He went for the obvious
Turkish
flash
jet in the server.
swing, but all three of them swing together.
We'll see how
Dude,
this
it's a
one goes. It's a
3v3
firefight
swing.
in the
And
middle.
BBL are out in the
Shadows
open,
fall.
and
I
I'm watching
don't think
Koi,
he's
and everyone
starting
else
this
is
one
tucking
off
in.
12-0.
Yeah, they're just way more coordinated on this fight, especially on the 3-3 at middle here.
No, it won't happen. There's no need for that.
2-1 for the pistols.
It's more likely that
Dude, the momentum of Koi must be in the bin.
BBL 1-0 starting this one off.
Is the ISO good, or would the Jet be better? It works a little bit different. I think Jet's better at a lot more things than ISO, but ISO's got a lot of stuff that he's better at.
Entry to be able to punch through with the ISO, but a lot of the time we look at more recently the Waylay being picked in on Icebox. It often relies
I think if you have someone that like wants to be open all the time though, the Jet is the way I'd go. You start getting some Killjoy.
Back in more reasonable territory in terms of the agents
on the go. Oh my goodness, Yampy.
Yampy getting aggressive. But I agree, I think having elevation on this map has always been a factor. You talk about when Chamber was in fashion, it still gave you that avenue. Waylay does, and of course, the old classic is the Jet. Something that we'll be missing here. I've enjoyed seeing the Tejo more though. The ability to clear those.
My goodness, Yampy's aim is looking kind of nuts.
Farming things up on the KO. He can get you the information, but with those new look flashes,
they lost nothing.
Even set himself
This is
up
a really good
Mike.
bonus.
I think that's something we're excited to see going forward. Of course, Cracks will be the man to watch tomorrow. You buff the KO, yes, of course, as Baki says, but for now, yeah, I think real potential
chip
for
damage
people to
really makes it
have
hard
more
to use the
star performances
shields.
on that agent, but I don't think Yampy ever needed.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times it gets sprayed down.
No,
But I think you can cover up with the wall pretty well, Saint. Unless you're just talking about like shocks and stuff.
BBL, but here is the real meat of the pie.
Turret,
Movistar Koi
Mollies,
in with rifles.
Molly. Yeah, I guess.
BBL look to try to upset them. An outlaw that's going to throw a lot of damage into the mix. And still, 2 rifles to work with. Profek and Sociable.
Still do think over towards A though, like the wall to defuse and get half. Must be pretty good. Once you clear the util. Dude, that is a Spectre.
Maybe I was right. Zero
How did he only tank 1 bullet?
Are you giving good
Okay,
odds
well they're gonna
on
get a
that
free
one? Down?
plant. They're in a
This is,
smoke.
that's
There's
tough.
nothing. Well, they might
2-0.
actually delay the plant for a little bit.
And it may get even better for BBL. Flya, well, he's going to make sure that's not too likely. Second
Okay,
line
they
coming
take
up, so it's
Snowman.
Levin on his way.
They're kind of locked in.
Profek picks another. The upgrade for Levin wasn't
And no one heard it.
They ran to plant
No one heard the
spike,
gun
so
drop
no
as well.
idea
But
that
his
there's a man
timing's
sneaking
really
up.
good.
They go to clear it, but they're not clearing this avenue where he's already up close and ready to fight. 17
He's doing
HP,
great.
but
Well,
he's
he
done enough.
swung
Look where he's
again.
done more now.
Oh my god, and he dashes
Taking
across to
Magnum
distract this
Spectre.
guy.
It's doing
Wait, that was
work.
nuts, bro.
That's
I
a
thought he was just gonna tuck in and just let
devastating
everyone
loss
else do
for
the
Movistar
work.
Koi, not just
But
in the context
was
of
he
the
like
round,
really
Tom,
confident in his
but
one-way
4
smoke that he
players
did?
alive for BBL, and they get to recover so many of these rifles.
Oh my god,
I
Koi,
think
man.
you also
Koi
have to
getting
look at this
so
as
wrecked.
you probably picked this map knowing
Would
that
Fury
you
at
both played
2G
KC.
beat Koi at the
They
moment?
managed to get 3 rounds. You managed to
2G
get 12.
probably would.
So you go, okay. Well, they've already got 3 rounds.
Honestly, I'm
and
not
they
sure
have
Fury
been
would beat
pretty
anyone with
clean
power.
so far.
Fury would beat
They're
teams
very
on Lotus,
aggressive in
for
their
sure.
stance. Like, that was 2 players
But after the
frantic behind them in
2
the early stages
weeks
of the
in
round,
a
of
row,
course.
if you take away the Lotus, I don't think you could say
Shados being
Fury
picked
would
off,
beat
you know
anyone
that
at the
that flank
moment.
is going to be wide open, but this is an incredibly rough start for one side, and you can see the terrifying thing is that from what we've seen from BBL, they are a team that is almost molded by confidence. When this squad is rolling, they are just going to keep going. We saw it in the last map. They're already rolling.
I mean, the caveat to that is against KC, like we said, 3 out of 4 rounds. BBL ended up on 3 rounds total. But they had the Clove.
Would Fury be a Blackshot team? I mean, yeah, they're not that bad.
And Movistar Koi are, yeah, they're not KC. Profek shredding them around yellow, just dancing
boy,
about.
that's
He'll
a double gun
eventually
upgrade.
fall. And that puts us into a 3
Yeah.
versus 3. A good chance for Movistar
Oh,
Koi
Yampy,
to
please.
make up for
Okay,
a
it's happening.
fumble in round 3. And it looks like, yeah, but look, that's the rifle on Filu. The rest of them still have pistols. This
He
fight,
tried to jump away and then got tagged, lost the momentum, ends up
plenty of time to play with.
ends up just doing it in the open.
Clear position, stun to try and
stop the plant.
Flyer into letting go of the plant, but he will stick it through. One away from having the Hunter's Fury, one away from having that kill contract. Ultimate's incredibly close, and the turret looking to try and take contact from them here. Diving into space will be Levin. And now Sociable is all that stands in their way. They still got to be careful, though. We know what this guy could do in clutch situations. A sniper, normally his weapon of choice, but just got to look to try and bait them into the plant at this stage. It looks like the deal is already done, not knowing where those remaining players are going to be standing from. A nice shot onto Flyer, but surely at this stage, the time is way too far gone. And while Shados, he may not add a kill to the tally, he will win a round.
I was scared for a second Shados was going to let that get to half. But he didn't. He got involved, and the pay safeguard thrifty is Movistar Koi's reward.
Oh
it
my
was
God.
Close. But in a round like that, crazy. Where you've got those weaknesses to work with, a victory by any means is one that you're going to be happy to go home with.
One enemy remaining.
To build from here, to look to repeat the success that KC had against BBL it is a big challenge.
Tech pulse?
That's the first step in the right direction for Movistar Koi.
Good, I was wondering where to show the players. Okay.
Where
so now it gets a little bit weird because you got two people from BBL that come by next.
From BBL will help them fight back into this one, and you can see this consistent double combo being thrown out by Movistar Koi of the dart alongside the drone. Obviously the Teo drone in this scenario. But it means that a lot of those aggressive early positions that want to be held by BBL are consistently being denied. And looking at the current spacing of this defense, not really a lot of control over on that A site, but an immediate rotation coming out from Sociable. And bear in mind, with that Armageddon online, they have a lot of potential delay.
It's you and me.
Oh, not a successful ultimate from Filu. That was sidestepped by Profek. Still going to be alive, ready to slow that push. The wall
they'd like to get over towards it. Okay, so they're molly dumping close. That makes a lot of sense. We got a lack on the go as well, and they could definitely cancel and push. But as soon as they cancel this, they go into Magnum, and then okay, now you can delay a lot of time.
35 seconds left. But as he
God,
goes
what a weird round.
B side, they have to be so aware of this potential flank play.
I did great though. But okay, do they piece it all together? Why when they had all the A site and they're going back over towards B?
He needs to find value here.
Problem is that
they got a KO nade or not? No, nothing stopped the plant apart from ult.
Otherwise, there goes the ultimate. It's going to drag him from behind.
Oh my God, it stopped the plant as well, and they're too far away to pick it up.
Position.
Oh my God. Dude, that was incredibly well timed with the ult here. Nicely done from Sociable. Magnum played great in this round. Magnum did really, really good.
Will get the immediate kill, because if they did it backwards, it's not going to kill the player planting that spike. Clever stuff from BBL, but you have to think from Movistar Koi. You knew that ult was online. I think that's why they rotated, and you walked into it anyway.
It's so close to getting a spike.
The chance is there for Grabinho. They even started to rotate Sociable through spawn. He was the one coming down the ramp at the back of A, and they decided instead to route it through middle. Thank God they did, because if Grabinho gets that kill, a huge chance for Movistar Koi. Instead, 4-1. The lead for BBL extended on. And Movistar Koi, well, they're not the team that had this big boost to their economy early on. BBL lost one, able to buy. Movistar Koi, they're in that same boat. But if they lose here, their economy is in the bin, and BBL can run away with this half.
Got hit by the knife early, but have still decided to commit towards B. Drone being sent through will clear out yellow. It's only this passive spot from Profek, but not a man whose crosshair I'd want to walk into, just looking for some taps through. He got confidence in the last map, but, well, Filu's the one to bite the product.
Oh my goodness, how many is he getting through this smoke?
Oh boy. One that they're in the open. Profek putting up the numbers, leaving Flyer and Shados all alone.
What would this be if they lose it? 2-4 loss bonus? Lost the one before, lost this?
Covering their back, spotted
Yeah,
by
they kind of have to own this one. Smoke got hard. Hold up.
Fly is in there
The
for his
2v5.
third kill of the round. The spike Still
a 2v2.
taking what looked to be a lost cause has been
Ooh,
pulled
God, I
back
thought he got the last
into
one there.
Movistar Koi's
Getting nuts from
favor.
Flyer.
With a huge round.
Dragging him
And what
over
a
the
time
dragging
to
him over
step
the line
up
with this
right
one.
when they needed him.
Jesus.
I was going to say at the beginning of the map, putting him on the Sova was one of his better performances. Like, individually, I think he's definitely been struggling. I think you can tell there's a lot of micromanagement within this team, a lot of moments where he almost needs to not focus on his own individual ability. But in that game versus KC, went 21 and 16. It was a top fragger on his side. Come on, if he can have rounds like this more often.
He's been hitting
they got
some
hope
shots
in this matchup, because I'll be honest, I think that this looked dead to rights, but maybe some slight overextensions from the BBL
huge
squad.
round, chat.
They're feeling pretty
3 on each to
confident
count
right
by
now.
next.
Yeah, you can't blame Profek for it. He already picked up 3. Why not keep on going?
Okay,
But
the KO
the
going
ball
to
stopped rolling
aggro
pretty
though.
quickly.
You
Look at this
would
aggressive
consider a
position
Jet to
taken by
be here.
Levin.
Can't even get out
Catching
with the
Shados
dash.
off guard, getting out of here
Oh,
will
nice
be tough,
trades.
but he's got the cover. In
Wait.
fact, no, he doesn't back off. He
Did he
sticks
dash into
around
the smoke and then
despite
go
losing
back for
players in
more?
any vision
What
over
happened
belt.
there?
Solkas takes it for free. And a 3 versus 3 ults online for Movistar Koi as
I feel
well.
like I saw
They
him
can get the
dash.
plan down. They've got
Did it-
Flyer
did
and
it-
Solkas to deny.
What happened?
This will be a
Bumped his
very
head?
difficult
He hit
round
his
for
head?
BBL to
Oh, boy.
recover if they're in a post plan.
Well,
Yeah, this is one of the most powerful post-plant combos you can have. Yumpy being alive would have been nice. As he has the ideal
yeah.
denial, but
Well, Koi
this from Movistar
should be
just
using ults
pausing
on
for the
this
moment.
one.
Still 2 players here. Profek in a very aggressive position. I don't know if he'll be expected.
Shots,
and he's
man.
just so clean with
Yeah,
it.
really,
The
really
tabs
nice
coming
shots.
off the back of this Vandal. Well, yeah, you'd think maybe he's not just Polish, he's half Turkish, because that has been utter filth. He's been learning from the best, it seems. And now the rest of the squad are just sitting passively, looking to try and fight this together. Well, it's not quite as clean as
the
Solkas
big,
would have
important
liked.
rounds.
BBL immediately
Goes away,
respond
BBL.
again.
I like the idea from Solkas, though, to get aggressive
Looking,
there, try to catch them off. Just a few
looking
missed
nice,
shots
really.
that don't land.
What are the rounds of the Koi one? The eco rounds where they overextended, fly hero rounds? Okay, he
And
got
that makes a lot of
flashed.
sense, because I saw him activate the dash, and I was very confused to see him still up close. But yeah, a little bit unfortunate for him. In the end, though, BBL able to
Koi?
convert.
Yeah, the
5-2.
coordination's a little bit off.
Profek's aim training score must be like top 0.001%. Like it genuinely is absurd how clean he has looked when anybody walks into his crosshair.
This map. Last map was a little shakier.
It's going in.
7 and 11.
Yeah, when you win in 13-6 and the rounds you won.
When you talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
TFT, so you
Like,
decided to try it and now
you
you're
have to
addicted.
verify,
Yeah,
who's top of
TFT is
the board,
fun, man.
Mitch, in that game?
It is fun.
It's a guy called Levin.
So how many people do you think that were seen for the
That's
rounds
true
that they were winning?
That's true.
The
also.
Koi comp?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
obviously
it's
as
so
well,
hard
he's
to
playing
path
Astra.
left.
On the previous
But
map, not
if
now.
anything,
Now the
they're
lost
struggling
line
to get like.
and in the last map, so he's going to be
If anything,
a
they're
little
struggling
bit
to
more
get
involved
before
in
the
the
Viper
back
smoke.
lines of the team.
Like
This
struggling to
time,
get to the
while
fast
he's
choke
on
point
Viper,
where
his
Bell
utility
is.
allows him, enables him to take some of those fights. In fact, it's essential for him to be holding the opposite side of his wall, his orb, whatever it may be, and apparently for him to shoot players through it as
Have
well.
you also seen what Gunny's for? You're going to be over the moon.
Profek.
A B side. Oh no, is he not playing B?
No, he's not playing B.
Oh,
He's on mid.
I thought he was going to do the mid strat.
Yeah, I thought maybe I'd gotten through to PAL after all these years.
No.
Okay,
But,
Outlaw
I think
pickup.
his senses,
Everyone
his
can
better
get one
senses
shot
are
from this
listens
one.
to you as much as he listens to Kara.
And big changer
That's-
from
that's
Koi on the
understandable.
low buy. Got a
That's the
hero gun
biggest
for
insult I can
Filu.
give.
Yeah.
And he's
That's
lucky
tough.
to
I
be
don't think I'll
alive,
recover
6
from that.
HP.
Filu,
Probably gonna be
he's not
throwing
gonna
this
recover
gun
his
over, you would
HP,
imagine.
Down to 6
Shade
health.
us.
And that's the only rifle they have to work with from Movistar Koi. Maybe that's going to end up in someone else's hands, and indeed it's on the Shados.
Well, he's playing this entry where he gets a shield, but every time his opponent's getting a couple of bullets off before he can even react. He's 1 and 7 right now. I said at the beginning, I'm not a fan of the ISO on this map, especially not as a solo duelist. I think you need more alongside it as that distraction. We've seen a 1-2 punch all the time. Throw in a Yoru,
It's a
throw in a
3-pass
Jet.
and
But
fake.
on its own, I feel like it's limited as hell, and I think we're witnessing that right now. Still, a long way to go in this map. 5 rounds up to 2. There's never been a death sentence. We saw it in the last, but Shados' lurk forward has eventually been caught, and the space on A completely given up. There's only one man standing in their way right now, but you also have to bear in mind the weaponry.
Well,
there is
there's the
next
swank.
to
There's
nothing
no
in
idea
the
about
hands
Covino over
of
towards
this
site.
Movistar Koi squad.
Ooh. He considered it because mid was
Smart about it
open.
as well. Knows that a gap could have been found, and is now just waiting for that support, or at least it looked like it is. He's now going forward.
Yep, that he is. Dash was online. He didn't want them to get the plant in. Use those weaker weapons up close. Oh, he's going for them. He wants the kill, and he'll get it as well.
Dude, he's end up just hunting them, really.
And BBL with an in-zone flawless.
Okay, they got to use their ults
in the
into this.
And it looks like not a lot has changed since we finished out that last map. The momentum still very much with BBL.
Yeah, this round you can't really have too much blame to be placed over on Movistar Core. They had nothing to play with, but this guy seems to be having a field day. And when you look at Sociable 10-2, Profek 9-4, like it was mentioned on the desk as well that, oh yeah, we've talked a lot about Yumpy and Magnum, but I feel like these three individually, if they're online, it's GG. Like I don't know if anyone on Movistar Koi can stand up to that, at least right now. But Mitch, they got a hell of a lot of ults.
That's nice, isn't it? Throwing from here clears all of this.
Viper
ult goes in, Killjoy ult to secure them. He might be able to dodge this and get back in if he times it well. He actually has a little cubby at the back way. He might just tank the ult just to keep the pressure up.
High up.
They'll run back in.
Okay, he got out of there. Does he get in time?
It's going to cause problems.
Yeah, he did.
If they don't get back in the pit on time, and it looks like just about getting there. Filu grabs one, but
oh
they know where he is.
The hell is that shot?
Down, Levin falls, but Profek converts. And the problem is, they've got to stick inside that pit. Have one of their own down at least, so those players will start to decay.
Look how deep the positioning as well from Grabinho. Like clearing him out is
almost
going to be impossible.
Maybe the salvos are going to be able to save him here, but
angles, this post plant is nasty. The knife has been utilized and I believe will have connected onto him, but I think that's irrelevant at this stage. Profek just trying to bait someone in, but well, with how close Shados is sitting, it's all too easy. Soulcast with that final elimination and a wonderful post plant from Movistar Koi.
Yeah, I mean, that's the downside,
back on the board
right?
again. And honestly, a good amount of them survived, so maybe.
From Viper, you're going to cut off a lot of the site, but there's that small gap, and with them having their own pit to play around, Shados is able to look at the spike. He waits. Oh, they're just tapping it, no problem. If they're sticking it, he counts to 2 and then shoots. The guy's on 1 HP. Yeah. One shot, going to finish him off. So there was no moment there where they're really feeling like they're in danger. And just a great counter pick coming in. All right, great counter pick coming in from Grabinho that gets them that round. Now BBL immediately call a timeout, seeing ultimates committed, but not the round conversion. And with Movistar Koi still having a deep arsenal of ultimates to fall back onto, it's definitely the right time to take stock of where we're at. 6-3, plenty of time for Movistar Koi to climb back into this, and that's exactly what BBL are calling this timeout to avoid.
Yeah, we've already seen it before that versus their opponents of KC, they had some struggles on the attack. Now, it's a completely different composition and a completely different style of play, so I don't think we can take too much stock in how that went, but you still want to make sure you capitalize on your advantages, and that's where BBR
What do people use
right
still?
now, of course, for the opposing side. You got things over the line with,
EMEA
I'd say, one of the most classic combinations of
build.
ultimates ever. You get the lockdown to get you into site, you get the Viper's Pit to keep you in the site. So I think that obviously that has worked out for them. I think Filu as well, waking up a little bit, those 2 kills at the back of site made it much more disruptive.
Okay.
Can they now build off the back of that by the looks
I was going to say, can they win 2 in a row and actually make this a good half? Because
the pressure put forward. Now, this is a spot Levin's already played.
The loss here would be 2 full loss minus, so they'd have to eco.
Grabinho only getting his weapon out now. I was worried he was coming around that corner with a knife.
He's in the drone.
Up goes the drone, and an opportunity Levin will not let slip.
Yeah, they get info though. He had one close.
His life in the process from
Saw
Movistar Koi.
This
could be ideal. Yes, Hunter's Fury gone, but with Filu having the ult online, if they can pick one player out, the advantage is theirs to play around. Yumpy, the man with the operator, and he's pulled into the ult. The classic needed to break shield. And he's not going to find the kill. Filu, wonderful ultimate used, and Movistar Koi with the advantage as a result.
Careful. We've seen Profek popping off. Sociable down. And eventually
like
on the
freebie
edge
now as well.
of that Viper screen, Shados should have put this one to bed. We've already had a huge round or 2 from Magnum in the last map, but this would likely be the best of them. And with their economy low, I was going to say, is it worth just holding on to the gun? Another solid round from the side of Movistar Koi, and a lot of it coming off the back of Filu.
You've seen the Sova Yoru combo where the Yoru says, just shoot me, shoot me. Bait me was the call from Sova this time. He pops out the drone and
definitely.
they end up at the early
We're gonna cut to that voice com right now.
Bait me. See, I'm not sure who said that, but it definitely happened.
Damn, the one time we didn't have any video. That's crazy.
But no, I think as well, though, Filu.
Okay, they might actually be able to get 6. Force them down to Nico, got Hero Gun, got Knife Sword. So let's see what the Jet's doing. Looks like a flash.
I'll have that.
No.
Who peeks him? Filu with the shield up. So he hits
Probably
the shot.
gonna do a flash dash play on this one.
And unfortunately for Sociable, he didn't have a shield.
Still, a couple of those ults remain.
Drone going out.
Movistar Koi have done well. Attempted denial with the salvos, and more importantly, the Blade Storm available for Levin. They might have a few vulnerabilities in terms of the weapons, but this deadly Turkish duo is not just looking to hold down the B site, they're looking to take further ground.
They've pushed all the way up, and with weaker weapons, you expect this kind of a risk.
Well,
Sociable picking
that's
off
rough.
Fire, and I don't think he's going to take
they're gonna
that drone
see
out
the
for the rest of the
spike.
half. Only 1 round left.
Have they seen the
Lockdown
spike? I
comes
think
into
they've
play.
seen the spike.
BBL send. Movistar Koi
Oh, boy.
scrambling backwards in the
Shot.
Blade Storm, eagerly
Shots.
awaiting them. A double pickup. And then Sociable swings in to finish the job.
The spike's
Pay
just
safe card
perfectly sitting on a
thrifty
barrel
for
for everyone to
BBL,
see.
And way to make the best of a bad situation.
Jesus.
This is sort of where we talk about different types of economy. The economy in terms of money was low. Economy in terms of ultimates was very high. And that's what this round was. You had the aggressive push down. Again, I think Flyer being completely alone using a drone, I understand the concept was to sell a fake, but it's just such an easy pickoff. And then,
Nico, too.
because of that, Sociable ends up getting his ult. That's the Armageddon that traps them in at the back of the end. The lockdown which forced them forward. Perfectly telegraphed round from BBL, but I think Movistar Koi will be frustrated they fell for everything there.
I think a lot of the time you'll see those weaker buys centered around the A site with an anchor on B, the utility, and that's what he's hoping, right? You're going to see the drone as the solo player call, like, oh, they're on their way, I need help. And then those rotations come out, your team takes
You see the
A easily.
elevated and
But what a
Frostfire and
disaster for
Scrimlix between
Flyer.
Korean
2
teams.
rounds in a row.
No, but
This
that's
time
always
he
been
uses it
something that people
drone
have
from
said as a
way
thing for a
back.
while.
Doesn't clear
There's
fully
definitely
around
some
the corner,
teams that
but
do it. I
they've got
don't know if it
plenty
happens
to
at
do
the
that,
tier
looking
1
for the
level,
close
but it
player
used to
that
happen back in the
isn't
day.
actually there. For Movistar Koi, a lot of this
You
round
were just a little
going
bit
to be down
smart
to
with
the
who you
freeze play.
practiced.
They take space, they wait,
Problem
and
is,
hope to
there's
find either a
never
rotation on mid
any way
or
to
late
prove
walk
that.
up with their orb underneath and split the B site. So a lot of pressure either way
Immediate.
put onto Magnum.
Okay, yeah, they're going to try and
People are
force
saying
him out
Genji and Genji Academy are
with the
sharers.
Armageddon.
I mean,
I
you
think
would
a bit
imagine
of an
so.
unorthodox position though. You're not normally
I don't
gonna
think
try and
that's
clear
bad
that
if you're
ground
the
a little
same
bit early.
org,
We'll
to
get
be
caught
honest.
out and take quite a
Like,
bit of
I think
damage.
you're moronic
Now
if you're
saving that
playing
Hunter's Fury for the
the
post.
Orcs Academy the week before
They're in
you
a
play
very
an
good
Orc.
spot here, Movistar Koi.
You just
Yeah,
wouldn't.
it's a double
wouldn't play
flank
him.
on mid. Even if Shados goes down, expecting Grabinho to be there is unlikely, and he's covering his back the whole
Why not?
time,
It's
so
the
they've got
same-
extra security. But BBL
It's the
have
same
retaken this all through
organization.
spawn. They're here as
You'd
5.
think you would share
Sending
strats
one
and
out,
stuff with them
Magnum,
as well.
to look for that lurk through middle. They know that it's a possibility, if not a probability, and Magnum's got his timing. But he's not landed
It
the
gets
shots
rough
to
when
fight
it's like
towards the alleyway. Good
different
to start
teams
with.
actually
Prophet
sharing stuff.
doubling up on his duels, and a little more needed. But Sulcus, the only one
Maybe.
standing in their way. He's got the first,
Damn,
the second
bro.
even, and Grabinho with
No,
the
Yamping this
from
timed it with the low
grave
HP with the
snakebite
molly as
has
well.
landed a kill. What a play by Sulcus, by
5?
Movistar
Yeah,
Koi.
they did alright
And they'll
considering
be
the
within
start.
punching distance of BBL in the second half.
Red Bull clutch to close it, and a big round for them to take home with a resurgence that was impressive. The fact is, though, they're going to need a little bit more, and we'll see if they can get it in the second half.
Sharing it with outsiders, yeah. If you share it outside of the orc, then that's not the one. That should pretty much be illegal, but I just don't think you can ever prove that though. Yeah, let's mute this. You think it's the best Icebox comp? Honestly, I'm not sure. I think it kind of depends on like who you actually have in your team. Can't you just say no? You don't want to scrim if that happens. Yeah, we used to not scrim people because we thought they were sharing back in the day. You just scrim other people. Again, you don't know for sure. You could also be wrong that they're not sharing. Remember the rumors of the afterlay? You see the constant scrims, yeah. That is a thing as well. Ross said he has proof and sent it to Riot Jake. I mean, I would feel like if there's proof, teams would get punished for it.
A slight lead for the Turkish squad, and now moving into the second half, this is the real test. This is where they struggled up against KC. They did well in the first 4 rounds and nothing afterwards, but they've changed their comp, and no doubt they've looked back on the mistakes made there.
They've actually been looking a little bit better. They could do.
Well, it's been tragic when it comes to map 2 so far in stage 1.
I would give them one of the lowest lower percentages out of the middle teams in America as well.
Map 3 in the series.
But I'm not going to say no to that because I kind of.
This is the map they chose to fight on, Tom. Have you got hope?
I do feel like that when that roster's on, they can.
I think they had a
decent kind of do sick
in the last half, like building a little bit of confidence because it was looking a bit rough at
one point. I'll give them a much higher percentage.
But I think they've
was Yampy always the vibe guy? Yes, since day one.
Managing to sort of cycle them quite nicely, and again, like going back into how they started out the last defensive half. I think there's some opportunities here, but mostly I want to see what Shados and Filu can do, because I think Shados a bit of a quieter map than what we saw in the last, and I think
BBL 1 pistol, right? So we're 2-1 in terms of the pistols. So Koi actually did pretty good
to make this ISO work.
To come back. And then how is their comp on defense?
Well, the stats I'm seeing, Tom, we've
probably
got
pretty
10
legit.
opening duels
I'll
for
get over
BBL
towards
in
A.
that first half. Only 2 going the other way. It's a big difference to what we saw previously, but still a small lead. Movistar Koi have been able to recover. Some big clutch plays at times, even Grabinho from the grave in that last round with the snake bite.
Okay, pressure over towards B, the question mark. We got a Laka going over towards A to call his team back, and honestly, I'm probably calling them back as soon as I get to Jenny. Dude, he's got to tuck into this corner and just call him back. He's cleared the whole of the site. Guys, you gotta come back. Like, surely you gotta come back. I've cleared the whole of A.
The fake being sold on the other side of the map, and Flyer, if he walks back even a step or two, he could be in
pure madness.
Sharky water. In fact, with the rest of the team going back in the other direction, there's no way anybody expect anyone to be here. So many gaps to be found, but Flyer at least managing to find that trade.
But now
wasn't in his drone this time. Ready to take the fight. The creep up coming through from Sociable could find huge value.
Molly.
He's jumped up. It's a perfect angle. Nobody's spotting him. Sociable with a free play, at least on
Recon at least cleared over towards side, so they can tap this pretty fast with the wall to block.
A little easier for the rest of the squad to follow up. In fact, the turret almost found one, but 11.
Double pistol on this map.
Cleaning it up on that server. It's BBL.
I mean, this is a nice pistol in from BBL.
No
Dude, they got so much space for that lock, though. Way too much space.
Like, you know the bots that like sort of move around a little bit and spawn? Like, he's just walking around like, bing, 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 bing. Like, that was so easy for 11 at the end. And, well, I think already spotting...
Incredible, incredible. I can't speak English even anymore.
But I think as well that this is a dangerous start because there was so many gaps.
Okay, Molly to break the turret.
Like the fact that we saw a player walk all the way up into basically their spawn without anybody knowing.
Okay, now they create pressure over towards mid as they head over towards A, hoping that it would make them a little bit weaker, as we can see. The one's been moved away.
You don't have all of your utility. That is truly scary to see.
Full eco from Koi.
All classics from Movistar Koi, but a good read. 4 players on the A side. Magnum with the challenge. But he's got his trusty Spectre out.
I was gonna say, this guy's kind of sick with the Spectre.
Long-range weapon, the Spectre.
Oh god, everyone's aim's looking kind of nice.
Certainly when he's got his Levin out as well, it's a different story altogether. Quick little double pickup for them both. A plant for Levin, which will get him just 1 away from the Blade Storm. And information on where Grabinho is. The question is, who wants that orb? It's time to go and earn it, and it's Magnums for the taking. It's Spectre with a 3-piece and an in-zone flawless to put 9-5 on the score line for BBL.
To say early doors, we already have the Blade Storm available for Levin. They gave him the Spectre in case he could get that final kill, but then realized, actually, we could just give the Spike instead and plant it after the round. And having a Blade Storm, 3 rifles going into a bonus round, again, there's a real possibility that they start this half off 3-0, and I am really starting to worry for the side of Movistar Koi.
Okay, let's see the fast buyer, and the bonus is good though. They got jet knives as well, and then they carry pressure with the molly, and now they want to actually use it over towards middle. And dude, he's gone over the top, and that's the only B holder.
Grabinho falling, like you said, Tom. That is the site open for the taking, but Shadow steps in to try to put up a fight, to stop them and slow them on the push, but instead he has fallen and left Movistar Koi maybe in a save already with upgrades for BBL post-plant and barely any utility used, at least from the perspective of Movistar Koi. They'd be running into a ton of delay, salvo post-plant, snakebite for Profek, all and the Blade Storm still for Levin with a massive man disadvantage. They've got to fight for the next double digits for BBL, and they pretty much locked that in the first 10 seconds.
Yeah, the thing is, there's a few spots on this map that if I see a Blade Storm coming into a round, I'm thinking there's a good chance that guy dives there. One of them is the mid-tube, but I guess it just never crossed the mind of
how much money they're going to lose
and for him
hunting.
to be the solo B-site defender is a real terrifying
They're losing
prospect.
a fair amount. They committed everyone to
I can
hunt.
understand for the side of BBL, if they try and just hunt for these, the last man having a Spectre, and you know what? Yeah, you maybe could have got that gun if you weren't sprayed.
Nah, you couldn't have got it.
I genuinely don't think Magnum cares at this point.
Well, mate, he is doing a lot with the Spectre. Just keep it. Don't even upgrade Magnum. I love watching it.
He may actually, like, he may be getting pretty close to having more kills with the Spectre in this map.
Best Spectre player EU?
Is that a title that anyone wants?
No one else is fighting for it, but he's got it. He sat there with the belt. No one can take it off him. 10-5.
It's like best Ares player. It's like, oh, cool. Well done, bud.
No, I would go out of my way not to have that. I'll
So if anything, that means we should give you the title.
No, no, thank you. I see one lower third. I'm flying to Ireland. 10-5. BBL. They face off against a full buy. Movistar Koi took the save, but with players losing their lives right at the end, it's Bulldogs, a Guardian in play. Lots of weaknesses. Levin tagged up. But a lot of that comes back online with the wall. Shados provides cover from up top.
Well, he goes in. They managed to get the plant here. Yumpy has one flash. Profek has a gun that can one-shot everyone apart from Grabinho.
Available for BBL in this moment. Looking at the sniper of Profek, a chance to rain damage down. Shields are minimal. Only Grabinho has the option here, but the cleanup is fantastic. Yumpy's done well, though.
About
He
damage.
needs to try and eliminate all 3 remaining players. An ace
God, nice
necessary.
chance.
Shadows peaks
Oh my
ahead of
goodness,
things, and
imagine it. He
There
did
was a
good damage in the end.
Well, I
Armor off
believe
of
in the
here.
Yumpy clutch, but
3
thankfully,
guns. This was the
that
heavy
stopped
armor as
before it
well.
got
So
too dangerous.
BBL can pretty much just win this right
Koi
here.
made the call in that moment to peek him together. Had they have went for the stick on the defuse, which is what Yumpy assumed was happening, it's why he swings so quickly and aggressively in, there was a real chance that he isolates each one of those fights and pulls it across the line. That would have been a death sentence for Movistar Koi, but they cling on for dear life at 10-6. Rifle still out, but thanks to the great early start from BBL with 3 rounds in a row. They're easily able to buy right back up into this one. So for Koi, there's still a bit more work to be done. Fialu and Flya, though, having ultimates online, that should be the edge that they need, and already
double damage out into the ult.
It's done more damage to their teammates
Yeah,
than to the opponents.
it did a fair amount too. I didn't mind the idea though. They go aggro, vulnerable this into insta ult. Not too bad.
But there's nobody there, and now the A site.
Do you think you could do the same thing with the recon that goes here and then get like card info with it? But
they can actually plant.
I get they would go into this area.
Risky. Just the jump up, but they're going to try and isolate Sociable.
Okay, just got so much info from that. He can delay and they can just... Ah, bro, just stay alive. I did so good at delaying. What the hell? He so nearly got around the corner. Okay, I do think the Loon went a bit too aggro when you just had a player delaying like that. This is nuts though. They got the Killjoy and the Killjoy had mollies on the spike, so... Speaking of mollies, that, yeah.
Clearing this back angle onto Profek and leaving just Yumpy remaining.
Fuser's already started. The wall's going to give perfect cover. It's almost fully
yeah,
diffused.
nicely done though from Koi in the end.
Before Yumpy can in swing. It's already in Movistar
he gets the
Koi's
kills.
hands.
They don't have much money, but
as Jumpy cleans up those last fights, 10
God,
to 7.
it's mayhem at the moment.
And with
I think
so much time
I
in
honestly
middle,
think
and
the
even
BBL messed up here though.
Side push.
Like Loon giving them this
It's a miracle
kill,
that they end up walking out with that. Movistar
especially
Koi
peeking.
phenomenally well.
Especially
the
the
rooting
peak.
Levin out of that position. The
Like
perfectly
at least
timed
tuck in.
salvos from Solkas as well, trading out that kill and leaving it into the 1v2 that with the wall was easy to win.
Puts them in an awkward position again on BBL side, but as we've seen,
Hey, they forced them down to a low buy.
I would say than usual from Ultimates,
Just
even with low
imagine
purchases.
they lose it.
Seems like the ults have made all the difference. Magnum, it's looking the other way, and nobody else currently holding the angle. Bit of an early slip up, and V-Loop under pressure, going to take a lot of damage. Giving Levin that extra space, stun thrown through the spam on either side. Not quite finishing the job. In fact,
Dude, who's this crazy guy?
What the hell is going on? Just looks to try and brawl with the pistols. It seemed like a mistake, and well, it was.
You do that against rifles, it's a risk. You do it against pistols.
Hoops and Beer with Prime, thanks so much for the 11 months.
Profek, even worse. A big mistake.
Yeah, hopefully it's making the day go faster.
BBL now. They've got the site, but they're looking for the duels. They want the fights.
Still no plan.
Getting put into play, but a gap for Shados, and he's fighting. Okay. A three-piece pickup, and the round
And they put
as
the
a
ult
result.
into it. Okay,
Massive
not too
play
bad
from
at all.
Shados. And just a mistake from BBL,
And they just hadn't realized he was out at all, and then the ult ends up going in between the two.
Messy round through and through. Like it was
didn't give
one
him,
that you start off
didn't give him too
where
much.
the result is what you expected, but the manner in which we got there was just absurd. Like he's very aggressive plays forward, but this from Shados, we talked about the vintage level of this man, but again, like you look at the squad from BBL, and it is all individual. You give this man 1v1 fights, and there are opportunities to be had, and it seemed like they desperately needed that one. BBL are going to call themselves a pause.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
The button is pressed.
Powell calls for the timeout there,
Could've
and
finished this
rightfully
earlier.
so. BBL, they made some mistakes there. They were a little sloppy that last fight. I mean, we saw the replay from Shados' perspective, and he gets given 3 1v1s. Now Shados, he was on fire in the previous map, certainly starting it out, 12-0 before he eventually went down. So you give him a lot of 1v1s, well, he's keen to recapture that fire from Pearl. But here on Icebox, still trailing by 2. Movistar Koi have a little ways to go. BBL not down in the dumps just yet, able to buy up, and a lot of these rounds we've looked at and said that there was ults in their favor. That will still be the case. With Yumpy, Magnum, and Profek all having something to put into play, but Solkas holding on to the Armageddon. Shados,
honestly, they might keep it real simple if they really want a round. And like, I'm looking at the round, it'd force 2 of them to eco. Like you KO ult as you Killjoy ult, then you afterplant with the
this fragment.
With the Viper ult.
Alongside salvos, we've already witnessed the front side of sight, but the goal here was just
Dude,
to
he's
deny
getting
the
so
ult.
aggro, as if he got the guy behind.
Gets sociable behind, but then Levin, he's been so good on this jet
Oh,
entry.
whoa. He hit that.
The headshot onto Solkas.
Oh my god, that was a nut shot.
When you put that jet
like a robot. Robot aim.
Duelist, you know roughly what you're going to get almost.
Dude, Magus Fives on 1 HP from that as well.
Levin's still in an aggressive spot though, just not missing a beat on the jet. 22-10 right now. This has been his series.
He dashes, gets his dash on with 2 quick kills, and goes again.
Don't do that thing where you give him all the kills though.
That was beautiful to witness that entry. Grabinho. 1v3 after picking off Levin. In that same aggressive position we've seen before. 1 HP on Magnum, like you say. Snakebite already sent in, but Magnum up top, he's flying under the radar, or maybe over
very nice. Didn't even have to use the main
like
ult for it as well.
Oh no, he's actually got it. Timing's perfect. Sneaking up behind Grabinho to close out the round and put 11 on the board for BBL. Whatever they said in that timeout, it worked. I don't know how you get Levin to do that, like, what call that is, but
Levin,
keep
you
on
remember
going.
I did, yeah. He hit some absolute shots.
Either you get 3.
Dude, this one on Soulcast was crazy.
Back on Yoru, and he's like, no! Runs in, beats them all up. But this is the level that you could see from just such a high skill youngster.
Like we said, force them down to an eco, and Koi do that thing again. And this one's a little bit less criminal than the first map, though, where they're just forced and there's two people that have to sheriff. Luna Rabbit with the tier 1, thank you for the 7 months. Thank you. So, they're all in. This is the rounds. So you would imagine they use all of the ults. Drone ready to iso maybe, or are we? No, okay.
And with that null command utilizing the last map, not a lot to deny it.
They're going for a push down mid. It's Filu leading the charge. He's got the rifle, and of course the drone sent out by Flya clears out a lot of the space.
Yeah, this is a really big fake at the moment.
Comes into play, and they want to cut off rotations. Flya does well to find his ones, and they will just back off immediately. They know now the rotate's coming into A, ready for this fight.
Like even with this on the eco round low by like their sheriffs, the first contact.
In position. Ready and waiting, deep Viper's pit in play. Levin has to hold that angle.
Guy did a lot though. Shadows 5 HP.
Won't stop them if they push around the backside, and that's a big problem. With only one player making his way through, it's Grabinho that could definitely be in trouble. But the old use, it actually catches the player closer. The Profex still good.
Yeah, they managed to trade it, but Sociable wins the all out, and he's out here on top. They're looking on the floor for him. They're trying to work out how on earth they tried to ult the Viper and got this guy.
4 chances to close it out now for BBL.
It's a damn right miracle that he manages to survive there.
I mean, he did incredible, man. The fact that he won the ISO ult as well.
So he's off site. They know where he is. Comes back and gets both of them. Like it's.
No, they don't know where he is though. They're searching for him.
By Profec, and in the meantime, the goal of Magnum was just to play that post.
They think he's like screens or something, right?
It does feel like a miracle that he manages to go back and go, right, where are they?
Yeah, they had to go check screens.
And you see those players as well running around in the pit because they're like, oh, well, the body must be in there, so even if he loses the fight, we'll get him when he comes out. Pit goes down, they're looking around like, where'd he go? Well, he showed his hand right at the end.
4 rounds. We wanted Koi to use all the ults, and they did.
And for Movistar Koi, another 2-0 defeat. This puts them to the position where they all.
No, dude, surely not like that.
And Levin's dashing.
Oh god, he's just W King. He's 25 to 12 running. He's in spawn.
And Levin ain't done yet.
He's literally in spawn. What's he
puts him to bed. But Levin's gotten BBL a 4v3.
Why is he there?
An old school, like, I don't know, a Durka or a Kellogg's or something like that, where it's just like, I'm not going to stop fighting you until you put me down. A man advantage
Magnum
again.
Plays close. Well, it doesn't even matter, does it?
Dissipated. Nice work from Filu, will at least make it competitive.
Does it matter?
In fact,
they're going to think he's offside because he used...
Yumpy's lurking through the backlines. Magnum looking to play up close, needs to deny this defusal. Filu with another. And
he actually won
it's too far away from Yumpy.
Oh
he
god,
can
they
just
messed it up.
in front of his nose. Nothing that can be done. Filu with a life-saving round, but again, they survive with 0
yeah, they got their money again, but I still think it's another round that BBL probably should have won. Like, Lin, once he gets the 2 kills, should chill, but he's trying to touch down in spawn. Then everyone else is dueling. And then our Killjoy's fighting on site. And it's kind of smart, but then he gave away his position by fighting early. And then we have a double luck, even though our guy is hiding on site. So we actually had no one playing after plan. I'm so confused.
His opening last round with the Blade Storm was sensational. He won't go down through the wall here. There were 2 at least, giving him that bit of extra cover. But my eyes are firmly glued to him. I want to see that opening again for BBL because it's just been such a problem for Movistar Koi. As soon as they see his eyes.
I like that. So I'm on camera. Down. Yeah, you can see me. Come on. I'm waiting.
I'm pretty sure the when the Viper was playing after playing face first. I think the Viper had Molly as well.
He just didn't even care.
I'm pretty sure.
Like, okay,
pretty sure Perfect had Molly.
Here, but I'm not going to aim up just in case. Now again, mentioned it before. All those ults have been expended. Filu and Sociable on the other side are closest to having something in this round. The A-Site simulator, the Icebox of old. They look to fight this again, and Wildfly are stuck in no man's land, but Filu has dealt with Levin and gets his ult online. Yeah, the ult though, whether it's going to be used or not, they're already close. He's got to clear them out first.
Do you want to go for it? Oh, that's a shame.
Down goes the shield.
I can say, does he want to go for the ult?
For Movistar Koi, all players on site. They don't know if they've gone back at this point. Soon they'll find out that Sociable is up top looking for a battle and finding it.
Oh god.
Bilu with
Okay, this time the ult's
He
legit.
is dragging this team across the line, kicking and screaming, but he'll finally fall, loosening his grip on the map as 12-9 could turn into 13 with a 3-piece.
Okay, nicely done from
Sociable.
BBL.
It's BBL series
Felt a little bit rough from Koi, especially
on the last week and what could be
especially getting no pistols on the second map. Dude, I was worried for BBL. First 5 rounds on Pearl, I was very worried for them. But
from this point forward to even have a chance.
it was scrappy, I'm not gonna lie, it was a scrappy game. Nosrat, thank you so much, dude. Appreciate the tier 1. Thank you for the 18 months. Thank you for that.
Obviously, the last map before.